noktan ŝirmejon.
Okay, it's talking about elephants, and the verb was to go, right?
Yes, it mentions elephants and the verb to go or enter, eniri.
Okay, repeat the whole sentence.
La elefantois ne volas eniri sian noktan ŝirmejon.
Okay, something about the elephants don't want to go somewhere at night. Is that correct?
Exactly. It's saying that the elephants don't want to enter their shelter at night.
What is the word for shelter?
The word for shelter is ŝirmejo.
Can you spell it?
Bone.
Are you going to spell it?
Ĉu vi deziras ke mi literumu la vorton ŝirmejo?
Yes.
ŝ-i-r-m-e-j.
Okay, next.
La sekva problemo estas: grupo da infanoj hazarde faligis manĝon en la kaĝon de la goriloj.
Okay, 1 second.
Grupo da infanoj hazarde faligis manĝon en la kaĝon de la goriloj.
So it was something about children doing something, right?
Yes, it mentioned a group of children doing something.
Okay, repeat it.
Grupo da infanos hazarde faligis manĝon en la kaĝon de la goriloj.
Whew. Assad. Does that have something to do with cooking? Repeat it.
No, hazarde signifas accidentally or by chance. It's not related to cooking, but to doing something by accident. Would you like me to repeat the sentence?
Just go ahead and translate it.
Sure. It means a group of children accidentally drop food into the gorilla's enclosure.
What's the word for drop?
The word for drop is faligi.
Faligi. And what's the word for accidentally?
The word for accidentally is hazarde.
Hazarde. Okay, next.
La sekva problemo estas: la akvo en la pingüinejo frostigis pro subitaj malvarmaj temperaturoj.
So the water in... Did you say the word
The-
penguin? Is that what you said?
Yes, pingüinejo means penguin enclosure.
Okay, so the water in the penguin enclosure did something. And I know you said something about being cold. So did it freeze?
Exactly. The water in the penguin enclosure froze due to sudden cold temperatures.
Okay, and we can try and solve it, right?
Yes, you can now try to solve it in Esperanto.
How can we say, well, don't tell me the whole sentence, but I'm trying to form the sentence, we can warm up the water. So ni povas varmi, is that right? How do you say to warm up?
To say to warm up, you can use varmigi.
Okay, so ni povas varmigi la akvon.
Exactly. Ni povas varmigi la akvon.
Okay, next.
La sekva problemo estas: unu el la zebroj estas tro maltrankila kaj ne volas manĝi.
Okay, so one of the zebras is so tired that they can't eat. Is that the problem?
Not quite. It says one of the zebras is too anxious and doesn't want to eat.
What's the word for anxious?
The word for anxious is maltranquila.
Maltranquila. Okay, so to solve the problem, I'm going to try and form the sentence in Esperanto. We can make the zebra more comfortable. So how do you use the word to make in this context in Esperanto?
In this context, you can use fari to mean to make. So you'd say, ni povas fari la zebron pli komforta.
Whew. Okay, repeat it.
Ni povas fari la zebron pli komforta.
Pli comforta. So mi povas fari la zebron comforta? Something like that?
Yes, exactly. Ni povas fari la zebron komforta.
Okay, next.
La sekva problemo estas: la ĝirafoj rifuzas trinki akvon el sia kutima trinkujo.
Okay, so something about an animal, I think you said a giraffe, is refusing to drink the water. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. One of the giraffes is refusing to drink water from their usual trough.
From their usual trough. What's the word for trough?
The word for trough is trincuyo.
Trincujo. Okay. Okay, so break down
Bone.
break down the construction of that word. So trincajo is a drink, and then the ending ejo means it's a place. So a trough is a drinking place. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. Trincuyo is formed from trinqui, to drink, and
Okay.
the suffix uyo, which indicates a container or place.
Okay, so let's solve the problem. So ni povas purigi la trinquejo.
Almost there. You want to say ni povas purigi la trincuyon.
Trincujon. Why is that? Because it's a direct object now.
Yes, exactly. The N ending indicates that trincuyo is the direct object of the sentence.
Okay, was the rest of the sentence correct?
Yes, the rest of the sentence was correct. Mi povas purigi means we can clean.
Okay, so we can clean the trough. Okay, next problem.
La sekva problemo estas. La loĝejo de la reptilioj havas elektran problemon, kaj la varmiglampoj ne funkcias.
Okay. What's
Bone.
say it again?
La loĝejo de la reptilioj havas elektran problemon, kaj la varmiglampoj ne funkcias.
So I'm having trouble with the first noun. So I know there's an electrical problem and the lights aren't working. But lojajo, is that what you said? Lojajo?
The word is loĝejo, which means habitat or dwelling.
Okay. And was the animal reptiles? I forgot. Is that what you said?
Yes, reptilios means reptiles. The problem is with the reptile's habitat.
Okay, the reptile's habitat is having an electronic problem and the lights aren't working, right?
Exactly. The reptile's habitat has an electrical problem and the heating lamps aren't working.
The heating lamps. How do you say heating lamps?
Varmiglampois means heating lamps.
Varmi glampois. Okay. Let's solve the problem. So, ni povas aĉeti novajn varmi glampos.
That's correct. Ni povas aĉeti novajn varmiglampojn.
Okay, so I said glampos, but glampoin is correcto, no?
Yes, glampoin is correct. It's the accusative plural form.
Okay, next.
La sekva problemo estas: nova juna leono alvenis, sed la aliaj leonoj ne akceptas ĝin.
Say it again.
Nova juna leono alvenis, sed la aliaj leonoj ne akceptas ĝin.
Okay, is it something about there's a new lion coming into the enclosure, but the other lions don't accept him? Is that it?
Yes, exactly. A new young lion arrived, but the other lions don't accept him.
Okay, let's solve the problem. Okay. Whew. What is the word to free in this context? Like we can free the lions. Don't tell me the whole sentence, but the word is something like libereo, right? But that's a place.
To say to free in this context, you would use liberigi.
Liberigi.
You're right.
So ni povos liberigi la leonoi?
Yes, that's correct. Ni povas liberigi la leonoj.
Well, okay. Leonois is wrong, right? Because it wouldn't end in an S. It's liberoin, right?
Exactly. Leonoj is correct for lions.
I don't think so. That's incorrect. It wouldn't end with the letter S.
You're correct. It should be leono in the singular. If you are referring to lions in the plural, it would be leonoi.
Okay. So auditory response is you made a mistake. So plural nouns don't end with the letter S in Esperanto. They end with the letter J or the letter N if it's a direct object. Audit your responses.
You're right. In Esperanto, plural nouns end with J. My mistake there. Thank you for pointing that out.
Next.
La sekva problemo estas: la veterinaro rimarkis ke unu el la orangutanoj havas strangan haŭtan problemon.
So is veterinarian, is that what you said? Is that a cognate?
Yes, Veterinaro is veterinarian in Esperanto, and it is indeed a cognate.
Okay, so the veterinarian noticed a health problem with the orangutan, but I'm missing context. Is that right?
Yes, the veterinarian noticed a strange skin problem with one of the orangutans.
How do you say skin problem?
Halta problemo means skin problem.
Harta? So is harto skin?
Yes, halto is skin.
Okay. ¿Por qué haces? Why am I doing this? So I'm just learning Esperanto, and it's hard to find Esperanto speakers, so I'm using ChatGPT. So that's why I'm doing this. ¿Por qué? Yeah, that's why. Next.
Compreneble. La sekva problemo estas. Turisto perdis sian telefonon en la calle de la Tigrino.
Ooh, okay, so somebody left their phone in a tiger cage. Is that right?
Not quite. The previous problem mentioned a veterinarian noticing a strange skin problem on one of the orangutans.
But the next question, the next problem.
Ah, right. My mistake. The next problem is Turisto perdi sian telefonon en la calle de la Tigrino.
Yeah, okay, so a visitor or a tourist accidentally dropped or lost their phone in the tiger cage, right?
Yes, exactly. A tourist lost their phone in the tigress's cage.
Okay.
Bone.
So what's the word for employee? Dungo?
The dungito is the word for employee.
Okay. Li povas demandi. Okay, how do I form the sentence? The tourist can ask an employee for help.
You can say, La turisto povas peti helpon de dungito.
Parti helpon por dungito, right?
Close. It should be de dungito to indicate from an employee.
Okay, repeat the whole sentence for me.
La turisto povas peti helpon de dungito.
Okay, next problem.
La sekva problemo estas. La flamingoj migris al nekonvena parto de la zoo kaj rifuzas reveni.
So, I forget the verb, but I think you said flamingos. Did you say they migrated and they won't come back? Is that right?
Yes, exactly. It's about the flamingos migrating to an unsuitable part of the zoo and refusing to return.
Okay. Let's go to a different problem.
Sure. The next problem is Visitanto azar de lasi sian dorso sacón en la calle de la lupois.
So, I guess visitors dropped their phone again, right? Into some enclosure.
Actually, this time a visitor accidentally left their backpack in the wolves' enclosure.
A backpack. What's the word for backpack?
The word for backpack is dorso saco.
Dorso saco, right?
Yes, exactly. Dorso saco.
So that's a compound word. Saco would be bag. What is dorso? Is that literally back?
Yes, exactly. Dorso means back. So dorso saco is literally back bag.
What's the word for wolf or wolves?
The word for wolf is lupo. And for wolves, it's lupoi.
Okay.
Bone.
Okay, so how do I say the visitor in this case? Whoever dropped the bag.
You can say visitanto for the visitor.
La visitanto povas aĉeti novan dorso sako.
That sentence means the visitor can buy a new backpack. If you want to say the visitor can ask for help, it would be la visitanto povas peti helpon.
Okay, so I think my sentence was slightly incorrect though, because it should have been dorso sakon with the N.
Yes, that's correct. To make it clear that dorso saco is the direct object, you would say dorso sacon with the N ending.
Next.
La sekva problemo estas. Iu fendetis la vitron de la acuario de la ŝarkoj.
Vitron. What is vitron?
Vitro means glass.
Okay, repeat it.
Iu fendetis la vitron de la aquario de la sharkois.
What is the verb that begins with, I think it's the letter F?
The verb is fendeti, which means to crack.
Okay, something about cracking the glass of the shark enclosure or the shark tank.
Yes, someone cracked the glass of the shark tank.
What is the word for glass?
The word for glass is vitro.
Vitro. Okay. What's the word for shark?
The word for shark is charco.
It's spelled differently though, isn't it? How do you spell it?
It's spelled Sachrko in Esperanto.
I think that's wrong. Next.
La sekva problemo estas. La kameleono malaperis el sia vivejo, sed neniu povas trovi ĝin.
Repeat the first part slowly.
La kameleono malaperis.
What's that word, kameleon? What is that?
Kameleono means chameleon.
Wow, okay. Repeat the whole sentence.
La kameleono malaperis el sia vivejo, sed neniu povas trovi ĝin.
Something about losing something and finding something, but I'm missing a lot of context. Go ahead and translate it.
Sure, the chameleon disappeared from its habitat, but no one can find it.
Disappeared. What's the word for disappeared?
The word for disappeared is malaperis.
Malaperis.
Yes, exactly. Malaperis means disappeared.
Okay, so let's solve the problem as a zookeeper. So, ni povas. How do you say to put? As in, like, to put food out.
You can use meti for to put.
Ni povas peti manĝaĵo. How do you say put out food for the chameleon? Por la chameleon?
You can say ni povas meti manĝaĵon por la kameleono.
Por la How do you say that word again? Chameleon?
Kameleono is the word for chameleon.
Okay, next problem.
La sekva problemo estas. Unu el la elefantos lernis malfermi pordojn kaj fuĝis el sia kaĝo.
One of the elephants learned to open the door and left the enclosure.
Yes, exactly. One of the elephants learned to open doors and escaped its enclosure.
Okay. Ni povas konstrui pordon pli
Ni
bona.
povas Exactly. Pli sekuran pordon means a more secure door.
Okay. That's not exactly what I said. I think the whole sentence I said was we can construct a better door. So how would you say that?
You would say, ni povas konstrui pli bonan pordon.
Pli bonan pordon. Okay, next problem.
La sekva problemo estas. La papagoj lernis imiti la sonon de alarmo kaj konfuzas la dungitojn.
Say it again.
La papagoj lernis imiti la sonojn de alarmo kaj konfuzas la dungitojn.
So something about imitating, one of the animals learned to imitate the sound of an alarm and confused the employees. Is that right?
Exactly. The parrots learned to imitate alarm sounds and confuse the employees.
Parrots. Was that a cognate?
Yes, papagojs is similar to parrots and can be considered a cognate.
Okay. Let me see here.
Yes.
Ni povas ŝanĝi la sonon de. Okay, I'm trying to say that we can change the sound of the alarm.
You can say, ni povas ŝanĝi la sonon de la alarmo.
De la alarmo. So that's another cognate, alarmo.
Yes, alarmo is a cognate for alarm.
Okay, go ahead.
Bone.
With the next problem.
La sekva problemo estas. La palusaj ursoj ne alvenis ĝustatempe kaj ili malsatas.
Say it again.
La manĝo por la polusais ursois ne alvenis ĝustatempe, kaj ili malsatas.
I don't have any context other than food for animals, but I don't even know what animals. What animals are we talking about?
It's about polar bears. The sentence says their food didn't arrive on time and they are hungry.
What is the word for arrive on time?
To say arrive on time, you can use alveni ĝustatempe.
Alveni giusta tempe. Okay, and what is the word for hungry?
The word for hungry is malsata.
Malsata. So sata, what is sata then?
Sata means full or not hungry.
Does,
The prefix
does it have other
Bone.
context as well? Can you say like a box is full, or is it strictly to being hungry?
Yes, sata can also be used to describe something as full, like a box. It means satisfied or filled in a broader sense.
Next.
La sekva problemo estas: granda fulmotondro kaŭzis panikon inter la antilopois, kaj ili provas salti trans la barilon.
Wow. Say it again. Actually, repeat the first part only.
Granda fulmotondro kaŭzis panikon.
Repeat it.
Granda fulmotondro kaŭzis panikon.
What is the noun? Is something causing panic? Is that correct?
Yes, fulmotondro is the noun meaning thunderstorm, and it caused panic.
Okay, a thunderstorm caused panic. Repeat the word for thunderstorm.
Fulmotondro means thunderstorm.
Okay, and now repeat the second part of the sentence.
Inter la antilopois kaj ili provas salti trans la barilon.
Go ahead and translate it.
A large thunderstorm caused panic among the antelopes, and they are trying to jump over the fence.
Wow. Okay. Ni povas. How do you say to bring? Like I want to say we can bring them inside.
You can use emigi for to bring them inside.
Amigi. So ni povas amigi.
Yes, ni povas enigi means we can bring them inside.
What's the word for them in this case? I don't think we had a way to distinguish who is being brought inside.
To specify them in this case, you'd use ilin, so it would be ni povas enigi ilin.
Okay, ni povas imigi ilin.
Exactly, ni povas enigi ilin.
Are you sure? Wouldn't it be ilin? Wouldn't you say them first?
In Esperanto, the word order can be flexible, but ni povas enigi ilin is the most common structure. You can also say,
what resource are you using for grammatical structure?
I base responses on standard Esperanto grammar rules. If you prefer a different structure or have a specific style in mind, feel free to let me know.
Standard Esperanto rules is vague. What is the source?
Standard Esperanto grammar rules are derived from sources like the Fundamento de Esperanto by L.L. Zamenhof and other established grammar references. If you need a more specific citation or resource, I'm here to help.
Okay, can you condense into how many different resources are you using? Is it 2, 3, 4?
I rely on a comprehensive understanding of Esperanto grammar principles, mainly from foundational texts like the Fundamento de Esperanto and other standard grammar resources. It's not a fixed number, but a collective knowledge base.
So how do you prioritize which source to use?
I prioritize based on established and widely accepted Esperanto grammar rules. If there's a specific context or a commonly used structure, that takes precedence. If you have specific preferences or a style in mind, I can adapt accordingly.
I would say make the preference to anything created by Zamenhof, the creator of Esperanto.
Got it. I'll prioritize resources or guidelines by L.L. Zamenhof moving forward. If you have any other preferences, just let me know.
Okay, continue.
La sekva problemo estas: iu forgesis fermi la pordon de la surikatoj, kaj ili nun kuras tra la zoo.
Okay, someone did not shut or they forgot to shut a door to an animal enclosure. I don't know what animal, but I thought you said cats, but that doesn't sound like a zoo animal. So, educate me.
Sure. The previous problem was about a visitor leaving their backpack in the wolves' enclosure. You might be thinking of lupois, wolves. If you want to discuss another scenario or clarify, feel free to let me know.
Are you sure that's the last sentence you said? I don't think so.
You're correct. I apologize for the confusion. The last scenario mentioned a thunderstorm causing panic among antelopes. If you want to discuss another scenario, feel free to let me know.
Let's move on to another scenario.
Sure. The next scenario is Iu forgesis fermi la pordon de las suricatois. Caili nun curas tralazo.
Okay, that's the sentence we should have been working on. So, someone forgot to close the door to an animal enclosure, right?
Yes, exactly. Someone forgot to close the door to the meerkat's enclosure, and now they are running around the zoo.
The meerkats. Okay. And how do you say they're running around the zoo?
You can say Ili curas tralazo.
Tra-lazo. Can you break down the construction of those words? Tra-lazo.
Sure. Tra means through or across, and lazo is the zoo. So tralazo means through the zoo.
How do you spell zoo in Esperanto?
Zoo is spelled Z-O-O in Esperanto.
So, okay, can you pronounce, I guess, 5 other words that have a similar construction with the letter O?
Sure. Here are 5 words. Uno, bebo, baby. Dos, biro, man. Tres, gato, cat. Cuatro, floro, flower.
So, okay, but the word zoo has 2 O's, but is there another word that has 2 O's?
Yes, domo. House is an example with 2 O's.
Okay, next problem.
La sekva problemo estas. La hipopotamois rifusas eniri la akvon, ech en la plej varmaj tagoj.
Something about the hippos are refusing to drink the water, and something about being too warm. Is that right?
Close. It mentions that the hippos are refusing to enter the water, even on the hottest days.
Refusing to enter the water. What's the word for enter?
The word for enter is eniri.
Iniri. Okay, next problem.
La sekva problemo estas. Visitanto alportis hundon al la zoo, kaj ĝi kaŭzas grandan ĝenon inter la bestoj.
Repeat the first part.
Visitanto alportis hundon al la zoo.
So the visitors brought their dogs to the park?
Yes, a visitor brought their dog to the zoo.
Okay. Repeat the second part of the problem.
Kaj ĝi kaŭzas grandan ĝenon inter la bestoj.
So it definitely caused a problem with the other animals. Can you go ahead and translate it?
Sure. And it is causing a big disturbance among the animals.
What's the word for disturbance?
The word for disturbance is lleno.
Geno. Can you break down the construction and the language of origin for that word?
Sure. Lleno comes from the root gen, which conveys the idea of bother or disturbance. It's part of Esperanto's word-building system, where roots combine with affixes to create meanings.
Okay.
Bone.
Next problem.
La sekva problemo estas. Uno forgesis fermi la pordon de la suricatois, kaj ili nun kuras tra la zoo.
Okay, we've heard that one. Go into a different topic.
La sekva problemo temas pri la akvario. La akvo en la akvario fariĝis malpura, kaj la fiŝoj ne ŝajnas sanaj.
Wow, okay. I know you're talking about the water, like a water enclosure, like an aquarium. Okay, repeat the whole sentence. be all we have. Okay, anybody still here? That was Esperanto, about 30 minutes of practice. I intend to live stream about 150 hours of Esperanto this year. Hopefully I do a lot of that in 1 month, but we'll see. That's all I got.